Hello everyone, so this week our chemistry crash course is going to focus on this chapter known as the nitrogen cycle and air pollution. Okay, from the previous video we have known that there are 78% of nitrogen present in our atmosphere. But how do we get nitrogen from N2 into the soil? This is where the very crucial parts will be explained in nitrogen cycle, how it goes from atmosphere into the human body. The first step is nitrogen fixation, and this is very crucial, and it comes in three different ways. The first one, when there's lightning occurs, the higher energy from the lightning can trigger the reaction between the nitrogen gas and oxygen gas in our atmosphere, and this reaction can cause the N2 and O2 to become NO, nitrogen monoxide, or NO2, nitrogen dioxide, or we can call them NOx, NOx. After that, this NOx can reach the soil through rain or snow. Alright, the next option is through the industrial process. Human will take the nitrogen and H2, hydrogen gas from the atmosphere, and go through an industrial process to make ammonia NH3. And ammonia NH3 is further processed to form fertilizer. So as you know, when we put fertilizer on the soil, the nitrogen can be injected into the soil. And then here comes the next option, where bacteria will fixate nitrogen in the fertilizer or even waste products from animals into the soil. So this is how we got the nitrogen from atmosphere or other sources into our soil. So when there's nitrogen in the soil, our plants will need to absorb the nitrogen because they need them to make protein to grow bigger. So during the process, when animals consume the plants, nitrogen from the plants will be transferred to the animal. And then as time passes, when the animals die, the decomposers, the little bacteria will then break down the nitrogen in the corpse, in the dead body, and then the nitrogen will return to the soil in the form of nitrate, NO3-. And then there will be bacteria in the soil which will again denitrify the nitrates and return N2 gas back to the atmosphere again. So when we have N2 in the air, we will go through the first process, nitrogen fixation, and go through this cycle again and again. So now we're going to focus on air pollution. In air pollution, you must memorize the 4 pollutants and their sources. Okay, the first one is carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide usually comes from incomplete combustion. And then the next one is sulfur dioxide, which comes from the combustion of fossil fuels that contains sulfur. After that will be leaded compound, which it comes from leaded petrol. And the next one is NOx, and it usually comes from car engine. So now let's go into the detail of each. Okay, so as I have always mentioned, when there's a combustion, O2 gas is involved. So when we burn our fossil fuel, the carbon will react with oxygen gas and give you carbon dioxide. However, when there's incomplete combustion, how does it happen? So imagine when the car is moving, the engine is continuously pumping in fresh air and we have abundant supply of oxygen gas. However, if you stop your car at somewhere and the engine is not actually moving and limited air is injected into the engine, and as time passes, we'll have less and less supply of oxygen gas. And this is where incomplete combustion will occur. So at this time, carbon will still react with the oxygen, but we will get mainly carbon monoxide. Okay, carbon monoxide is actually very toxic and it's very dangerous because it can bind with your hemoglobin, and then our body will not get enough oxygen gas. So when this happens, the human will feel sleepy and eventually they will die in the sleep. Alright, the next one, sulfur dioxide. And again, combustion where oxygen is involved. Now we are burning fossil that contains sulfur, and sulfur will react with the oxygen to form SO2. When the SO2 enters the atmosphere, they react with the water vapor, and we can get H2SO3 sulfurous acid, and then oxidize to become sulfuric acid, H2SO4. So H2SO4 sulfuric acid is one of the reasons why we get acid rain. And this can lower the pH of the soil, corrodes your building, and even kill coral. And how does this reaction happen? We're going to look at that in chapter 7. The next one will be the leaded compound. When we're burning fuels that contain lead compound is released into the atmosphere. And it is believed that it has adverse effect on humans and can cause mental disability in children and cause cancer. Alright, let's come to NOx again. Remember, the NOx do not come from any fuel, but it comes from car engine, because when the engine is on, it is very high temperature inside, and again, nitrogen gas and oxygen gas in the atmosphere will react, and it's the same thing. It will give you NO or NO2. When this NOx is released into the atmosphere, they will react with the water vapor, and you will get nitric acid, HNO3. Same as your sulfuric acid, your HNO3, the nitric acid, can also cause acid rain, and at the same time, it contributes to photochemical smog. So in order to make things safer, we're going to use this thing called catalytic converter, which is installed in all of our engine. However, you have to take note, catalytic converter, it only converts toxic pollutants to something less pollutant. It's not completely safe, it is just less harmful. So for example, the first one, we will turn the carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide, which is very safe, but too much of that can cause global warming. Or the next one is nitrogen monoxide, NO and CO, it will turn into N2 and CO2. N2 is safe, but CO2 again, the greenhouse gas. Alright, so you guys must memorize these two reactions. Okay, we have come to the end of this video. If you are interested to understand the main points and even highlights for each of the chapter, feel free to subscribe for more videos. At the same time, you can follow me on this platform to get my free notes and reach out for online lessons. See you soon, bye bye.